Hi there everyone, welcome back to my channel. And we've just had the November community stream for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, and my lord, there is a lot to go through. We've got new characters coming up, we've got new lost chapters, new content, a brand new difficulty setting that's coming up that we've been talking about for a long while. The big power creep that's going to come with the very first EX Plus weapons and armor, and an explanation as to how those work. There's a lot to look forward to in the month of November for Dissidia. So if you want to find out more about what's coming up in November, then stay tuned and keep on watching. As always, don't forget to check out all of the social links in the description box below, including my Facebook, my Twitter, my Discord, my Twitch, which I'll leave the schedule on the right hand side here so you guys can come and watch me play Opera Omnia. There's a lot that I'm going to be doing streaming with this game over the next few weeks, like Friday, Sherlotta, next week, EX Plus. The end of the month, my extra special favourite character, who I'm sure I won't be alone in pulling for, will be turning up. There's a lot to come and watch and a lot to come and see, so I hope that you guys will come and tune into that. Don't forget to check out DissidiaDB.com, which I use for all of my should you pull videos and information that I use on the game. A massive shout out to Kim and Josh for doing the stream itself. You do a wonderful job, guys, don't ever stop. And of course, don't forget to check out all of the other content creators for Dissidia Final Fantasy, as I really think that they would appreciate you coming and having a look at their stuff just as much as I do for mine. Now, before we talk about the elephants in the room, like the new characters and the EX Plus and all of that other good stuff, I do want to quickly note that come November 6th, we're going to get some really nice little quality of life improvements that, honestly, we shouldn't be getting, as far as the JP schedule is concerned, for quite a long time. For starters, we're getting 100 extra slots on our gear, which is amazing, and another 100 extra purchasable slots. So if you've already maxed out your slots, you can get another 100 and get, so that's 200 total slots. I know I'm going to be using that for artifact farming. I don't know about you guys. We're also going to get World of Illusions weapons added to the power token exchange. Now, I might do a little video just like telling you guys which ones are worth picking up, but a lot of these, if you use the characters that these are meant for, then chances are you're going to want to pick some of them up, because a lot of them provide auras to your party. Clouds in particular is extremely useful because it allows him to dispel buffs off of your opponents just by hitting them with a critical attack, a critical HP attack. It's really useful. I've actually had it since it came out the very first time it came around, but it's actually a very, very good weapon to have. And then, you know, getting hold of Bart's, I mean, I'm actually really glad this is happening now because I've just picked Bart's EX from the free EX shot, so to be able to pick up his Noir Caliber as well is actually going to be amazing. And there's an auto button on the summon boards, which is amazing. Like, I can't tell you how happy I am for this improvement. And it's been said that the auto button actually prioritizes treasure, so it will make, if you get your 1800, you'll be able to get 1800 points, which is normally what you'd need to get treasures. You'll be able to just get it done. Or if you farm like the whole board, you can just press one button and it selects everything for you. No more tapping every bloody icon that there is in order to get through it. These are some really lovely changes that are quite small in scope, but honestly will go a long way in the long run. So we're going to start talking about some of the more hypey things, I suppose you could say, this month. And the first of which we're going to talk about is going to be Sherlotta. And Sherlotta is a character that a lot of people in the community are extremely excited for. I am also one of those people. And she's an extremely powerful support character that can do things that no other character can do. And we all know how much I like unique characters. She increases the percentage of HP damage that your entire party deals. And she also has a really nice attack where she like brave batteries your entire party and then does an HP attack from like equal to the bravery of each of your party members. So it's as if all three of your party members attack, but they don't lose their bravery. And Sherlotta is just an extremely powerful pick for the early Chaos era and a much needed character. So if you watched my Leon Should You Pull video, you'll notice that I said yes, but I said yes with the caveat that there are a lot more important characters to worry about than Leon before you go spending all your resources. Sherlotta is one of those characters. So do bear that in mind. We're going to be getting her this Friday, so she's definitely one to watch out for. The waiting is now finally over. Come November 6th, we're going to be able to get EX Plus weapons. Now, EX Plus, for those of you that are not aware, is the next kind of power creep, if you will, that Dissidia Final Fantasy can provide. Basically, the best thing about this is that it's a power creep that doesn't involve you having to pull anything whatsoever outside of the EXs that we're already having to pull for. There's no fourth tier of weapon just yet. There's no having to pull multiple copies of EX weapons to get it done. You can use this with EX weapons that you already have when they become ready to be awakened or realized, as the term is used. Interesting terminology, but when the weapons availability to be realized into EX Plus comes about, it really exponentially grows the power of each of the characters that it's meant for. Now, the example they use here is Cloud, and Cloud is one of the first characters to get an EX Plus weapon, which is why he was so heavily recommended during my, which EX should you pick for the EX shop. He will have a banner come back at this point in time alongside Vincent EX, but I will come to that in a moment when we talk about the level 70 batches. But what you need to do is you need to get hold of Book of Ruins Mysteries, as they're calling it in this game, in this version of the game, in order to be able to awaken the 6-star version of your EX weapon, so your fully limit broken, fully leveled EX weapon. You're then able to then make it EX Plus. And then you also get an adamantine ingot, which is the item that you need in order to limit break that weapon. You can't do it with dupes of that weapon or armor or anything like that. You can only do it by using the ingots. And you gain the pieces to make ingots by playing through the new hardest difficulties. And obviously the game itself will grant ways of getting ingots and books and things like that, so that you're able to then make more EX Plus weapons. So it's a power creep that is entirely gameplay related. It's one of the best things I love about this game, and there's so many good ones that, like, I'm actually having to change the way I think when it comes to my should you pull videos and stuff, because honestly there are next to no bad characters once they all start getting their EX weapons. So we're not going to have many to begin with, and the early era for this is going to be quite strict on the characters you can use for the hardest content, and I'll get to that when I talk about chaos difficulty. But honestly, it's a very exciting thing, and it also works for armors as well, where armor, with the HG armor or the 90 CP armor as we've got it at the moment, has the same thing, except it's Book of Refuges Mysteries. It's a different item that you use to realize its power into 7-star capability, so that you can then use Refuges adamantine ingots to then raise its stats further, limit break it, level it up until it turns purple, which is like the new colour for maxed out 7-star gear, and it also unlocks a sphere slot. So the game does actually talk about the bonus spheres, and it's something that I actually very much plan to make a full video on, because I think it's something that hasn't been touched on very much in a lot of content. Basically, when you max out a weapon's EX Plus, so when it's turned purple, you then get a bonus sphere, which is like a materia of sorts. If you've played Final Fantasy VII, you'll know what a materia is. Each character will have 2 sphere slots, a third if you've maxed out, limit broken, and done everything to turn the armor purple, so that you then get a copy of the sphere, or a third slot for the spheres that you gain from EX Plus max limit breaking a weapon into those characters to give them different bonus effects and things like that. So for example, Cloud's one is Mighty Critical Hit, which means they do more damage when they do critical hits. There's lots of small ones, and they'll start to become more apparent as time goes on, and they're something that I will start to bring into mind when I start doing my videos on various banners and things like that. You should never go out of your way to pull for a weapon just to get a bonus sphere, from my knowledge, but they are a great resource to have, and you can it allows you to really customize your characters to what you've got. You can't unequip a materia or a bonus sphere once you've given it to a character, so once it's on, it's not coming off, but you can overwrite it with other characters. You'll also notice that they have different lettering, so they have different types, so A, B, C, D, E, and they can only... A character's sphere slots will also have corresponding letters to match up with the spheres. So for example, Cloud has an A slot, which means that slot can only be equipped by A spheres. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight into how bonus spheres work. If you would like me to do a full video on bonus spheres, recommended bonus spheres for each character, or ones that I think would work very well with a particular team or anything like that, then let me know in the comments below, and it's something that I will definitely discuss in greater detail. Thankfully, we are actually getting an enhanced campaign on November 6th that lasts up until the end of the month, which will give us a bunch more resources that are usable to realise a EX weapon into an EX Plus version of itself. And this is done by using the new Square Enix data backup, because now we don't have Facebook to link to DFFOO anymore. We have a new method of doing it, so we're not entirely reliant on Google Play. or Apple or anything like that. So you have something that's a Square Enix account that you can use to back up your data, and you're rewarded for doing so with a book of each type, and that's going to be really useful. You'll get a login bonus, which will give you a book of each type, and EX Power and Guard Orbs, which are significantly stronger versions of your regular Power and Guard Orbs, because you need a lot of them in order to fully level an EX Plus weapon or armor. So these are going to make that a little bit easier. And then we get Chocobo panel missions, which will give us the pieces that we need to create ingots and books and things like that, because you get them broken down into pieces, which are the materials that you'll get by finishing content in order to make the books and ingots that you need to make your EX Plus weapons. This all sounds a little bit complicated now to those of you who don't know much about it, but as it all comes into the game and we start seeing it, it will make a lot more sense. And obviously there's gems and tickets and EX Power and Guard Orbs as well within the Chocobo panel missions. So honestly, this is all absolutely fantastic news. Just by doing the data backup and the login bonus, you could have access to 2 EX Plus weapons without even trying. So looking at the next level 70 Crystal Awakenings batch, which will be happening on November the 7th, we will have Cypher, Cloud, Garnet, Vincent, Dark Knight Cecil, and Yang. Of those characters, Cloud and Vincent, as far as I'm aware, are the first characters to get their EX Plus weapons. So they're the first characters that if they'll come back with a banner as well, so if you don't already have Cloud, you will have another opportunity to get him. And believe me, you want him for the early Chaos era because he's extremely powerful with his EX Plus weapon. Vincent is also very good, but he is not quite as important as Cloud is. Dark Knight Cecil will also get a rework during this banner, which is actually really nice. He gets quite a lot out of it. None of the other characters get an EX Plus, unfortunately. They just get reruns of their EX weapons, and by that I mean Dark Knight Cecil and Garnet, but they don't get EX Plus weapons straight away. They do, however, get their level 70 Awakenings, and in the case of Dark Knight Cecil, it actually makes him quite significantly more powerful and certainly usable for the first few Chaos missions. Garnet's also coming back with a costume bundle, which honestly, they brought this forward from JP, and I might consider pulling for Garnet, honestly. Not because I think she's amazing, but because she's Final Fantasy IX, and I've seen the animation rework that her EX gets later on, and I swear if they do that early, I'm just going to go all in on Garnet, because a fun fact for you all, it features Alexander from FF9, and Alexander from FF9 is my favourite entity, anything, enemy, summon, boss, anything you want to call it, in all of the series. So if there's a reason for me to have access to anything Alexander related, then I'm in. Also on November 7th, we're going to be seeing the return of Heretic Quests, which has a beat back challenge, which means we're going to be getting loads of extra stuff. We're going to get tickets and gems and hopefully, some EX Plus related gear as well. So we'll see lots of stuff to come out of that. But we're also going to see the very first solo only Chaos quest. Now, Chaos is the next difficulty up from Cosmos, and Chaos's difficulty jump is high. I'm just going to level with you now. It's very, very high. In fact, it's so high that a large number of characters up until now will not be particularly useful for these events, and this will obviously get mitigated over time. A lot of people say, oh my god, it's really unfair that there's only a few usable characters for these events. It's not going to last forever. Yes, there are going to be characters that will work better than others for this. Cloud is probably the best example of that. This point in time is designed for it to be a showcase of EX Plus, and there are a few characters that can do really well during Chaos missions, and as a matter of fact, I will make a video to help people to make teams for these missions, because I think that a lot of people are really worried that they're not going to be able to finish these missions, and I want to tell you guys that you can. There are characters you can use. There are plenty of different team compositions that can be used for it, but it being Heretic Quests obviously means you're going to want to have a small plethora of characters at the very least, so you can at least tackle all those to get to the Chaos mission. Now from this point on, because we're going to start seeing EX Plus weapons coming into the forefront a little bit more often, or far more often, like every event will start to have them now, we'll start to see other characters that have them. Now, Fang's Lost Chapter comes back and will feature her EX Plus as well as Tidus's, if we're going by JP's schedule. And while Fang's is actually relatively lackluster, Tidus's is actually very good for the early Chaos era. And because it comes out on November the 11th, if you happen to already have Tidus EX, you could always wait for this to come out and then use Tidus back on the Chaos missions from the level 70 Awakening batch. There's enough time overlap that you'd be able to use these things quite accordingly. And then come November 14th, we're going to have another new character come out, which is going to be Garland, who's also coming up with quite a nice little costume. It's very, like, it's the old school version of Garland. It doesn't look hugely different from the regular one, but I actually quite like it with the white cape instead of the black one, and I like the changes in his mask and his helmet. I think it looks quite cool. Whether I'll spend money on it or not, I don't know. You know, I don't plan to pull on Garland personally, but he does return with Warrior of Light EX+, which is extraordinary. Warrior of Light is already a ridiculous character, and he gets his EX+ extremely early in the grand scheme of things, and you're going to want to have it. So if you don't already have Warrior of Light by this point, this is definitely a banner for you to watch out for. Thankfully, seeing as we're having all these amazing banners come out, we've got Sherlotta, we've got a Cloud banner returning. For those of you who don't have Cloud, we have a Warrior of Light banner with a really good character returning for, you know, those who don't have Warrior of Light. We've got another character that I definitely think a lot of people are going to pull for in the next slide that I'll talk about in a moment, but we also are going to have a summon board come out. And that's an extremely useful thing to happen because of the number of resources we get out of an ultimate summon board, and this time it's going to be Leviathan. Now, Leviathan will also come with 2 EX+ characters in Kryl and Zell. Zell is not amazing, still, unfortunately. Kryl, however, gets a significant buff from her EX and EX+, because she's not had an EX weapon up until now. And it's actually a really, really nice kit. So if you want someone that's a little bit outside the box from the characters that a lot of people are going to be pulling for, Kryl is actually really good. But the main reason that we're going to be looking at Leviathan is, I mean, you can see on the slide just there, 32,000 gems, 320 tickets, and 540 armor tokens. If you're willing to sit there and farm it, it's going to be amazing. One thing I will say is that summon boards are going to be extremely important for the stats that you get from them for Chaos missions. I cannot understate or overstate the difficulty of Chaos missions enough. If you're wanting to go into this early, you need to be prepared for it. That means having relatively good, or like characters that are relevant to the scale of the difficulty of it. So that's going to be like more recent characters like Sherlotta, like Leon, like the reworked Dark Knight Cecil, Cloud, Tidus, Warrior of Light. Characters like that are going to do very well, but you still want to get their boards maxed out. You want to get their artifacts ready. You want your characters to be the absolute best they can be. So having another board worth of stats on each character is not something that you should sniff at, let alone the treasures you get out of it. Come November 25th, we're going to see the return of Deuce with her Lost Chapter, and she's going to be getting an EX+ alongside Ace. Now, Ace is a character that a lot of us have just recently pulled from his recent banner alongside Sarah and Aerith, but his EX+ is exceptionally powerful and one that people will be very pleased to have, despite the fact that there are quite a lot of big magic users coming about around the same time as Ace. If you have him, he's going to do you extremely well for quite some time, so this is definitely a banner that you want to look out for. And if I remember correctly, during the Japanese version of this kind of era, because this was actually the time where I tried to play JP, as far as I remember, Garland, Ultimecia, and Deuce's banner all had free pulls on them. Whether we see those or not, I'm not entirely sure, but maybe that's something to look out for. But come November 28th is a character that I know I'm not alone, but I have been waiting for months. And those of you who watched my future pulls video know that this is a character I absolutely have to have, despite the fact that she comes back with an EX I already have, which is Squall, is Ultimecia. I cannot wait for November 28th enough. It cannot come quickly enough. I must have this character. Her kit is absolutely phenomenal. She's one of my favourite villains. I mean, we all know I love my villains, but she is just a phenomenal character. She basically, every time she uses her EX, she gets 3 extra turns, like just straight off the bat for free. So think of her like Vayne with magic damage that can do, like, she does ridiculous amounts of damage really quickly. She's just a very strong character. So if you want to be careful with your resources, the 2 banners you should be looking at most over this month are going to be Sherlotta and Ultimecia. Because Cloud and Warrior of Light, as much as they are amazing, you've had a lot more opportunities to get them, and if you haven't picked an EX weapon from the EX shop yet, one of those 2 should be the ones that you pick. So that is all of the information that we have been given from the community stream this month, and the slides that we were given, and all of the new characters and EX Plus and all of this fancy stuff that we're going to be getting over the month of November. Unfortunately, I was personally hoping, I'm sure again I'm not alone in that, I was hoping to see maybe Beatrix turn up with a level 70 and a rework, but maybe not her EX weapon, EX Plus weapon, or maybe even an early EX and reworked that to balance for global. We didn't see anything to do with Beatrix. However, from what I've been told, the community stream this month is going to be back on the 25th, and there is a extra piece of information that they want to discuss. So maybe that will have something to do with Beatrix, maybe it will be a brand new global exclusive, who knows, it could be anything. Because we've been catching up so quickly with JP's kind of schedule, we are closing a gap with them. It's not fast closing of the gap, but it is definitely happening. So hopefully there is a lot of content there for you to kind of get your teeth sunk into. Hopefully you're really excited for EX+. I know I am. Hopefully you're really excited for characters like Sherlotta, Ultimecia, and Garland. All the EX+ characters like Cloud and Warrior of Light and Ace and Tidus. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening this month. And we get an Ultimate Summon board to just hopefully recuperate at least some of the loss of those resources, because I know I'm going to be sinking some gems at some point this month, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys will be too. That's going to be it from me. As I said, leave a comment below if you want any further information or for me to make any videos on EX Plus as a whole, bonus spheres, or any particular character or team compositions for early Chaos era. If there's anything that you guys would like to know, then please leave a comment below and let me know what you want me to do. Anyways, thank you very much again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like on the video, and click on the bell for notifications for any videos I might make in the future. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks again. Bye now.